I lose Wi-Fi when I go over there.
Oh, we are live. What's good, yo? It's Monday. Let's get everybody on here. I didn't get to send out an email, but hopefully all of you can take a moment on your Monday afternoon. It's a beautiful day to connect with me and a really, really special conscious leader that is joining us today. So let's get everybody on here. Devin, what's good? What's good, Janobs? What's up, Gary? What's going on, everybody? Nicole, hello. 33 people. Yes, I love that. Oh, we just rose 42, 45. Let's go. Let's fucking go. 47. Yes, Uncle George, what's up? Guys, happy Monday from Sedona. I'm out here. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. I feel so blessed. I have my sister, Veronica, here. Sarah here. We're out here just working on our dreams, working on ourselves, rising up, elevating together. And I can't wait to connect with all of you. I have a really, really special, powerful guest joining us today. Her name is Blu. I can't wait to introduce you to her. One Heart Journeys, yes! One of my first ayahuasca ceremonies, One Heart. Shout out to One Heart in Costa Rica. Jackie, I see you in here. Veronica. Everybody, do me a favor. Comment real quickly one thing you're grateful for right now. Comment one thing you're grateful for. And let's see, from the UK, I love it, from the UK. Also comment where you guys are from. I love to see how global this community is. And then we'll have Blu join here in a second. I'm super excited to have her on. She has an unbelievable podcast called Deja Blu. We're going to talk about all things consciousness. We're going to talk about gene keys, something really, really unique. She calls it the cheat codes. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about storytelling, and we're going to talk about entrepreneurship. So, all right, we hit 50 people. Let's keep rising. Sunshine, I love it. Joey, my man. No doubt, Leaders Create Leaders Famine here. He says, my health and my family. We got Georgia in the house. We got San Diego in the house. We got New Jersey in the house. I love it. We got Cali in the house. I love it. High vibration, hustle was good. Positive mindset. You're grateful for your positive mindset. I love that. Grateful for being a leader from Israel. I love that. We got Dallas, Texas. Thankful for the breath, the breath in my lungs every day. I love that. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Joelle Jean keys. We're gonna dive deep. Let's see. We got Montreal in the house. We got LA. We got Turkey in the house. That's so cool. We have Seattle in the house. Yes, shout out everybody. I'm out here in Sedona in the vortex. We got India in the house. Shout out to India. I can't wait to visit India. South Africa in the house. I love that. Yes, we got the UK. Gary from the UK was good. Grateful for this moment now. I absolutely love that. True mastery, right? Being present, being in the now. That's all we have. We got Peter Guerra in the house. I love you, soul sister. Was good. We got Italy in the house. The UK again. Philly in the house. Colombia in the house. That's my roots. I love it. We got Netherlands in the house. What? Oh, I love this global community. I love you guys so much. Switzerland in the house. Thankful for life and really love the content you put out, G. I appreciate you. We got Dubai in the house. Florida in the house. This is what I'm talking about. Yes, cannabis is on here. It was good, cannabis. I appreciate you joining from Cali. Wow. We got Virginia in the house. Man, we got a powerful tribe here. I love you guys. So we're going to bring on the one and only. She has become one of my closest friends when I moved to California. My sister Monica introduced me to her. She is one of the most powerful transformational conscious leaders of our generation. She's doing magical work. She is also an expert at gene keys. And she's also one of the most, just the most inspiring storytellers that I know online. She totally has such a really cool way of just always expressing her truest self. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how she stepped into being an entrepreneur. So please welcome, guys. As you know, whenever I bring a really powerful leader, I need you to welcome her by dropping flowers, flower emojis. I want you to pick whatever flower comes to you, but I want you to drop some flower emojis for my good friend and let's get her on here. I love it. I'm grateful to see you happy in your community. I feel the same for mine. I love that. North Africa, yes. Yeah, Blu. love it. I love it.
Yes, yeah. Wow, that
Got some
introduction
flowers
was
coming in for you.
pretty profound. Thank you. Oh, the flowers. So good.
Yes, totally. Blue. Oh man, I have chills right now. Legitimately, like I literally have chills right now. I'm just so grateful. My heart is racing. I'm just so grateful for you. I really, really am. When I moved to California, my sister introduced us. It was a really big shift for me leaving from the East Coast. I'll always be an East Coast kid at heart. You know, I have that New York state of mind hustle in me. Always, I'm a Jersey kid through and through. But like when I came to the West Coast, it was because I really needed a change. I needed to shift my circle of influence. I needed to shift my environment. I needed to make a shift for me internally, like what looking at where I'm going, my purpose. And you were one of the first people that took me in as like a soul sister at the Mother Tree, which we got to talk about. And you become a dear friend that I admire. And I first and foremost just so grateful for you and being my friend. And then most importantly for who you be in the world. I see you, sister, and it's unbelievable how you are taking so many powerful spiritual, you know, concepts and strategies, but making them practical for so many people in the world, for them to fully own who they are in the world and create what they want and what they desire. And I love your work, and it's really, really powerful. So thank you for joining the podcast. Thank you for joining us on live.
Ah, what an incredible introduction. Like I feel like I was waiting it to join the chat, and you were doing the talking about me, and I was like, oh, I know, like my heart was like growing 3 sizes. I was like, wow, if all I did was just come on for that introduction, I feel like I'm a very happy person. So thank you, brother. I really appreciate you, and I'm so grateful for your presence in my life.
Absolutely. So we still got some flowers coming in, guys. You know how this goes. We're gonna just dive in, but any questions you have, try to use that box in the little corner there with the question mark. That way I can pull you up and shout you out as we go in and dive in. And we're gonna take it and flow from here. So first of all, Blue, if we can just maybe kick off a little bit about just where are you at in life right now? Just right now in the moment. A lot of times we go back to the beginning story of how you got to where you are, but I want you to just focus on the present. Like, where are you mentally, spiritually, physically? And I'm just curious, how are you feeling? What are you creating?
Okay, so honestly, where I'm at in my current reality is that I feel like I have birthed my own personal heaven on earth. And I didn't know growing up that this is even a possibility. I didn't know that you could have it all. I thought that it had to come with some element of sacrifice. If you want to make X amount of money, or you want to live in the dream home, and then you've got to work a job your whole life to then eventually be able to afford it, to then eventually be able to live your dreams, the life of your dreams. But it doesn't happen in your 20s. It happens when you're in your 50s, like that's when you finally get the carrot at the end of the stick kind of thing. And I'm actually realizing that that's not actually the truth, that as much as there is the go action, there is also the alignment, and it's learning through study of one's own brain, one's own energies, one's own experience, and really taking radical ownership of every single area of my life. And a lot of healing and a lot of shedding. As much as we are in the spiritual world learning so many new things, we're also unlearning a lot of things that have been projected on us from the moment that we were born around what this reality that we're living is actually is. And I've realized that actually there are just under 8 billion people on the planet. There are just under 8 billion different realities happening simultaneously. So it's not about one person's truth is the truth with a capital T. It's actually about what lens are you looking through, and how can you align yourself with your energy that's already present within you, and then actually move forward in that sense. And I find that things actually happen much faster when we're aligned with our truth, and then we take action from that place. And so my present reality is that I live in my dream home, an acre of land in the Pacific Palisades. I run this property with 5 others, and it is a place of transformation. And I live in my ideal bedroom, and I am surrounded by love. And I do what I love every single day, and I just feel it's got to a point, when it goes. Of course, life is a journey of refinement, right? But once you are healed, and then what, right? And then it's just, for me, it just goes instantly into service. It's like, once my cup is full, now from that full cup, let that energy flow into the cups around you. And so it's like the champagne tower analogy of the top glass being full. You got to fill the top glass up first, and then once that top glass is full, then it can pour to your friends, to your family, to your community, and then to the world. But we cannot actually deplete all of our energy and expect anybody around us is going to receive our abundance. And so it feels like my cup is really full right now, and I'm just so in devotion to storytelling and service and supporting other people to activate their leadership within them as well.
Wow. I absolutely just love, whew, that's so powerful. How many of you listening to this right now can relate to that, right? Like truly tapping into aligning yourself, filling up your cup, you know, and having that abundance mindset. How many can relate to that? I would love to know and comment below. And then Blu, like, how did this journey begin for you, right? Like, when was your breakthrough? Did you ever have one? Was this something that, you know, happened naturally for you? Like, how many, like, talk to me about like your path. I call it like the leader's story, where like in the beginning, maybe you weren't, you know, you didn't have that mindset that you have now. And like, what was the moment that really kind of, and how this all happened and evolved for you?
There's
Like
many moments, right?
many moments.
It's like many small moments that lead to a bigger transformation. Ever since I was born, I always questioned sort of like, what is this reality? Like, you talk about the government and yet everyone's afraid of it and no one really knows what's going on, and we just do what the government tells us to do. And like, I couldn't get my head around that. I couldn't wrap my head around that, even as a small child. However, I definitely played my role in the Matrix, what I call the Matrix, the rat race, you know, where it's like, do, completely bypass what it feels like, how it feels to be you, but just go in the doing and being so goal orientated that we've forgotten the process in its entirety. And recognizing actually there was a series of things that have happened to me. However, the initial piece is the curiosity to dive into something more beyond what the five senses are sharing with you. So for example, you look at an iceberg and you see that there's the iceberg, you can only see with your five senses the 30% mass above the water. However, there is a 70% mass below the water that, because our five senses can't pick up on it, all we see of the iceberg is what is above the water. Well, the same thing is with life, is that there's 70% going on beyond the five senses in the realm of feeling that we don't give full credit to because we can't tangibly touch it. But like, for example, if I was to write an email on my computer and I don't see an email I don't see a letter fly out of my computer, but I know that it's been sent. And so there is a realm in the non-physical that is also operating here. And so for me, it was just a quest to go into the realm of the non-physical and actually recognize, words lie, energy never does. All words hold a vibration. The vibration says the truth of the words, not necessarily the words themselves. Like, there is so much to explore here, whether it's from body language and how people communicate predominantly with their bodies more so than what they speak, that every single person is a vibrating ball of frequency, vibrating at the stories that they're telling themselves. And so, like, realizing that there is so much more that meets the eye, and I want to know about it. I want to learn about it. I want to do the meditation courses. I want to learn about Tantra. I want to learn about gene keys and human design and astrology. I want to learn about the 70% of mass below the surface of the water, because why the fuck not?
Yeah. I feel you 100%. Oh my God. It's, you know, I feel like we are living in our dreams, you know, like, you know, this is like, I think you had mentioned, you were like, this is kind of like I've created my heaven on earth. You know, and we have this ability to create this, the reality that, you know, based on what we, you know, can tap into within ourselves, what we believe and the thoughts we have and the feelings that we can embrace, and really starting to build a relationship beyond the physical world, like you're talking about, and like being able to really tap into the soul. And for me, I just I didn't really ever think this way. You know, I can say for myself, like, it was interesting because I was the guy who just was the doer. You know, I hustled. You know, I grew up and was just like the hustle and, you know, focusing on external things for my validation and, you know, trying to go out there and prove myself and overcome and compete and all these things. And it just got me to a point where, like, even when I did get the money and the accolades and the external things, it was like something was missing. And there was this part of me that was like empty, like, oh, like right in here, you know. I was just like, what is that? And I'll never forget, I don't think I've ever shared this before publicly, but the moment for me, Blue, was I was down the shore with my family. We would always take vacations down to the Jersey Shore, and my father wrote me a letter, and he pushed me into the bathroom and he had me open up this letter, and he made me read it to him out loud. And my dad's like this, like Tony Soprano, old school Italian type. Like, he doesn't, you know, he's funny and he's extremely wise. But he's been my greatest mentor. And he pushes me in that room and he makes me read this letter. And in that letter, what it said to me was, I've seen you, son, conquer anything you put your mind to. I've seen you go out and do it. But what matters is that, you know, I see that you're not truly happy. Mm-hmm. And it's time for you to start asking yourself those questions. And it was, you know, the letter was super deep, but, you know, I just remember that letter being the moment where I said to myself, wow, like, I need to reevaluate what success looks like and what is this life that I want to create, like that I want to be the master, you know, the artist of my masterpiece, the author of my story. And that was the moment for me. So I just, for me, I feel like that was the beginning. And then luckily I had a beautiful, amazing sister that started introducing me to meditation and modalities, and the journey began. But I would say, what would you say to someone who's listening to this right now that may be stuck in the doing? And right now, knowing what's going on in the world, knowing where we're at today, what would you say to someone who feels like they're stuck, they're hustling, maybe they're even making the money, they're doing the things, but they have that feeling, right? Like something isn't fully aligned. What would you say to them?
Mm-hmm. So firstly, thank you for sharing that story about your father. And yeah, it's really beautiful to be able to peel back the layers of who you be and all of the beautiful turning points that have happened in your life. And by you sharing your story vulnerably, you create a relatability for those that are not willing to share their story just yet. So thank you for that. Thank you for the courage of going into that space. And for the beings that have learned so well to be a human doing and forgotten how to be a human being, we are acknowledging that we are in a quarantine time right now. There is a pandemic on the planet that is asking us to stay inside. It's almost like Mother Nature has gone, now go to your room and think what you've done, kind of saying, like, okay, right, we've all gone to our rooms now. And recognizing that the natural default of us being a human doing has been asked to slow down and to soften into being a human being. And what we get to recognize during this time, firstly, the coronavirus, the crown virus, the virus that we are disconnected with something greater than ourselves. We have become disconnected from our own individual agenda to the well-being of our only home, Mother Earth. And so what is being invited within us is on the planet right now, the masculine energy is out of balance with the feminine energy. The masculine is the go. The masculine is the structure. The masculine is the finances. The masculine is the hustle. There's nothing wrong with the masculine energy, not at all. However, when you're in a relationship and it's out of balance, then there needs to be a renegotiation that happens. And right now there is an out of balance on the planet of the masculine energy to the feminine energy, which is the flow, the alignment, the intuition, the creativity, the listening. We have put this by the wayline while we hustle. Yeah. And recognize when we get to the top of the first mountain, we realize actually there's a second mountain. And I didn't even realize, because society has conditioned me that the way to create success is to trot up the first mountain and get the car and get the house and get the money in the bank account. But we completely bypassed the feeling, recognizing that the universe speaks energy and it responds to our feeling. So if we love what we do, we are putting that frequency out into the world that says, okay, I love what I do. So now I am attracting more things that I'm going to love in my reality. And so we get to, during this time, recognize the importance of the feminine energy within our own experience. And first, we can start by listening. We can listen to our
Yeah.
loved ones when they share. We can actually slow down and create a morning practice where the first thing we do when we get up in the morning is not go onto our phone and go into the doing, go into the to-do list, go into the emails, but actually have it on airplane mode, go
Yeah.
outside, take your shoes off, get your feet in the earth, and set your intentions for the day.
Yes.
Now we're strengthening the feminine principle. Now we're opening ourselves up to also be able to listen to our own intuition while we do things. Because if we're completely bypassing the feeling, we're completely bypassing the intention of the day, why are we even doing this? Then we're basically loading our bow with bent arrows and trying to hit a target.
Yeah.
So if you want to trudge up the second mountain is actually about something beyond us, the crown, the coronavirus, the disconnection with recognizing that we can have it all while being in service and create a win-win-win. Win for us, win for our family, win for the planet, win for humanity.
Yes.
The only way we can move forward in a sustainable way is creating win-win-wins. And you'll see right now with the coronavirus, all of those big corporations that have pushed other people down to get where they are, the money is falling out of their hands like sand. And it is now being relocated to the healers, the artists, the mystics, the creatives, the individuals that actually give a shit, not just about their own agenda, but the actual well-being of the whole planet. Because ultimately, if one person is suffering on this planet, we are all suffering to a certain degree. We have become so disconnected that we are all interconnected, and the virus is showing up to show us how connected we all are. One person gets it, then another person gets it, then another person gets it, and all of a sudden we have a pandemic. We are so interconnected on this planet, and it's so important to recognize, treat thy neighbor as thyself, because they truly are a fractal of your own consciousness.
Yes. I absolutely love it. I love it. And you know, the thing that you mentioned, I just want to reiterate to everybody who's listening to this, right, is, you know, when we started this call, right, I remember her saying that, you know, she also said, like, I feel like I have it all, right? And now if you're listening to what she just said, she's like, there can be a win-win-win, right? The second mountain is like, we have the ability to, when you're fully aligned and realize that you can create something that's bigger than yourself, being of service for the whole, right? The whole of the planet, the whole of our community, the whole of humanity, the whole and of our team and our company and our business and our family, providing for them and ourselves. Then think about like the possibilities there. It's like infinite. The game is infinite at that level, and you can have it all. You can have all the money you want and all the nice things and be happy and have the love of your life and look and dress however you want and speak however you want and help thy neighbor and give back and volunteer and do all of these things and give and give and give and give. And it's this beautiful flow of energy, right? That then comes right back to you. And I love it, because that's what ended up happening to me after that letter. It was like I had this awakening, and I feel like we're seeing the awakening starting to happen, Blu. So, you know, I'm an optimist, but I wanted you to touch on, in your eyes, do you see this as an awakening through the entire planet? And if you can touch on, what is the opportunity that we have as a generation, knowing the work that has been done before us through our ancestors, and then you look at kind of this moment in human history, and just kind of curious how you think that the work that is done by our ancestors has played a role into this moment now, and who do we need to be now to seize this moment?
Thank you for asking that question.
Sure.
So my dear sister Brianna says the most sacred thing is what is. And I really, really, really resonate with that. It's such an amazing mantra to guide through some really challenging times, specifically when, you know, people are saying, well, with the pandemic, everything's now completely uncertain. And it's like, well, in the actual reality of it, when is anything ever certain in life? Ever? We don't know. We're in co-creation with something much greater than ourselves. We get in our car. We don't know who's going to cut us off. We don't know who we're going to meet in line at the coffee shop. We don't know what's going to happen out in this world. But if we can adopt the mentality, the most sacred thing is what is, when the pandemic hits, the most sacred thing is what is. This is an opportunity. And so the indigenous tribe, the Hopi tribe, they talked about what happening with the pandemic. We have been presented with an option to jump through a portal or to fall into a hole. And so essentially right now, what I feel on the energetics of the planet, the light is really strong and the shadow is really strong. The polarities of the energies right now are like, and so every single day we get to ask ourselves, are we creating a portal for ourselves to evolve as an individual and to utilize this time to evolve myself so I can evolve the work that I do in the world and impact everybody that I come into contact with from the highest frequency, that I can actually create my dreams into reality and give from that place? Or do I sit in the morning, go straight onto my phone, go straight into the to-do, then run the news through my system 24 hours a day, playing in the background, which is the frequency of fear and anxiety, which is running through my subconscious like osmosis, absorbing it and therefore becoming it, then being at that frequency of anxiety and touching everything from that place. Now I'm falling into a hole, right? So it's not saying that, I don't believe that everybody is going to use this time as a portal. I don't believe that. It is free will. Free will is involved within this time. So we can jump through a portal or we can fall into a hole. And so the way that we, I believe that how magic is created is it's woven into the very small moments. Like, are you waking up in the morning and making your bed, resetting your room, letting your environment reflect back your internal state of peace and clarity? Then are we cleaning the dishes? We're making sure the dogs are fed. We're taking care of the outside thing. And then we sit down and we structure ourselves. We do our morning meditation, and then we structure our get to-do list, and we create that. And when we knock it out and we create structure, because magic even needs structure to be birthed into the 3D. 3D allows things to actually be born in the 3D. So it's like, okay, I am setting myself up to have a day that I jump through a portal. And it's okay, there's going to be times where we're going to feeling low energy. However, when we create the consistency, our habits actually is what speaks our truth. When we create the habitual pattern of going, watching the news, leaving the room a mess, not making the bed in the morning, not responding to our messages, whatever it is, we don't have the structure, then we're actually falling ourselves into a vibrational hole as well. And so there is free will, and that's the choice. And that's where I believe, like right now, and what you said about, like, I loved what you shared, brother, about like, we got to have it all, we got to win, because actually the only way the revolution is going to move is through an irresistible frequency. So it's going to be people that are the leaders that are actually going, I fucking love my life. I love what I do. I love who I am. I genuinely invest all my time and energy into something that I am devoted to, and it feeds me and feeds others simultaneously. This is an irresistible frequency, and that's how the revolution is going to move. It's not going to move when someone's in a hole and they're lying to the public and they're using politics to manipulate. Like, this is not an irresistible frequency. And eventually the law of nature will bring that back to them tenfold. What we emit, we receive.
So powerful. I love that whole thought, right? Like, I love the fact that it's like, we're part of the whole collective, but we also have free will and a choice ourselves, and how you look at it in the sense of like, every day, because I like to think of like every day as this opportunity it's a renewal of my contract. It's like God has given me a new day for me to be able to do all the things that you just mentioned. Like every day I'm like, I wake up, I follow those habits of like, make my bed, brush my teeth, do my meditation, read a little, journal a little. Like, I just take ownership of my day. I know that I'm the creator in that day, that I have the opportunity to create what I want to see that day and God gives us that opportunity. I feel so connected every day to like, wow, it's a whole new day for me to shine my light, for me to connect with others, for me to lift others up, for me to be able to play and have fun, but then also hustle and make shit happen, and it's just, it's so cool. But a lot of people do fall in the hole because they're not creating those habitual, routines and rituals in their life. And I'm just curious here, commenting, being vulnerable and being honest. Comment 1 if you truly have taken ownership of your routine and of your rituals on a daily basis. And a comment number 2 if you really haven't been consistent with that. Because I think it's really interesting to me how when you don't, how that really does, that's a different vibration. You start attracting, you're not attracting that abundance that's coming into your life. So I think it was really beautifully said. I want to switch gears a little bit because you talked about intuition, and we just had a really powerful talk with a human design expert. And, you know, it was really cool. We dove in, and I know that you have really become an expert at something called gene keys. And I haven't really worked that much with gene keys. I've heard about it. I know I've heard it's really powerful for entrepreneurs and probably anyone. Can you give me an idea of what is gene keys? And I don't know, maybe we can just dive in a little bit so I can understand a little bit more how we can use it.
Yeah, thank you. Let's go. So I just want to speak into it. I definitely don't class myself as a master at all, by the way. Like, there is so much still for me to learn with the gene keys, and I can definitely support people because I've been studying it, you know, for years. But when it comes to mastery, I don't know if I would fully classify as that. However, I'm just going to quickly let my dog out because she's going to cry otherwise.
No doubt. And everybody, I appreciate the number twos. I see a lot of you commenting number two. So this is the moment for you, right? Like, you have a moment and you have an opportunity to choose to make that shift in your life, starting today, starting tomorrow, starting to take ownership of the way that you make more of and how you want to use your time in life. So start to, you know, start to think about how you can now start to build routine. And so I appreciate everyone being honest here. And we can dive into more of that. I have a strategy that I give to my clients I talk about later, but let's dive into gene keys a little bit more because I'm really interested in this.
Yeah. And also, I just want to speak into the two.
Okay.
Is watch when your mind wants to put the finger outwards as to why you don't have a morning practice. Well, it's because of this, or it's because of that, or it's because I have, you know, this, I had to go to this job. But it's pointing out every time we point our finger outwards and we say something outside of us is the reason why I can't do it. We give all of our power away. So the only way that we can move from victim consciousness to creative consciousness is take ownership of every single thing in our human experience, that we created a certain thing to teach us something. And actually, in the Gene Keys, it talks about this, our greatest challenge in life is also our greatest gift. Yeah. And so it's an amazing way to actually take ownership of our experience and then be able to shift it and do something about it. Yeah. And so the invitation for you as a take home is for anybody listening or watching, is to make a list of all of the excuses you've created as to why you can't do it, and actually reclaim your power back from those and actually take ownership. And therefore you can actually shift it. That's
powerful. Super powerful. Fire.
So Gene Keys, let's go. All right. So all in the name of honoring the 70% mass of what goes on below the surface of the iceberg. We've got 30% that sits above the surface. We've got the 70% mass below the surface. This is beyond this is beyond the five senses. This is actually the realm of, you know, astrology, the realm of what the stars are saying. And Gene Keys is just a really, really, really deep dive into the blueprint of the human experience. And all of your coding is in your DNA. All of the insights of who you are, your eye color, your personality traits, your challenges, your gifts, your things that you excel at, the things that you don't do so well at. All of the coding is within your DNA. And within your DNA, you have 64 strands in your DNA. There are also 64 gene keys. And so basically, each strand within our DNA represents a different archetype that's available to us. And so what happens is when people get stuck.
What's an archetype? What's like an archetype? Okay, what's an archetype?
So, for example, if you look out into this world, you will see that we're all playing archetypes. We've got the artist and the mother and the lover and the student and the teacher and the musician and the creator and the businessman and the entrepreneur. We all play different archetypes. And you can see when you meet somebody, like, okay, well, this person's playing this archetype of the artist right now. And then you may meet them in 10 years' time and they may be the mother, and then they become the mother archetype, right? But we're all playing different archetypes. And so the Gene Keys is basically a breakdown that there are 64 archetypes available to the human experience. There are also 64 strands in your DNA. So how we create the Gene Keys is we cross-section your astrology, the moment you're born, the minute you're born, the location, the country, all of it. What are the planetary alignment the moment that you're born, cross-sectioned with an ancient text called the I Ching. And have you heard of the I Ching, Adam?
No.
So the I Ching is an ancient text channeled by a Chinese emperor 5,000 years ago that was basically a breakdown of all 64 archetypes of the human experience. And so you can see how you cross-section your astrology with the 64 archetypes of the human experience. You go like this, and you cross-section, and you create what's called a hologenetic profile, which breaks down all 11 archetypes that predominantly run through you. So within every archetype, there's 3 ways that you can look at it. You can see it through the shadow, you can see it through the gift, and you can see it through the what we call the siddhi, which is the enlightened aspect, the maximum amount of light entering your DNA. These are the people that are operating in the siddhic expression, are the sages, the gurus, the people that are exponentially evolved as individuals, the people, you know, Einstein, people that are accessing a large amount of light and being able to birth very, 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 very powerful things into 3D and leave legacies. You know, people that are operating in the highest expression usually live legacies long after they're gone.
Right.
And so the beautiful thing about the gene keys is that this frequency bandwidth, this shadow gift or siddhi expression, is available to everybody. And it's through the power of free will to actually know thyself. So it's so important. It's so important to spend this life learning who you are, because you're the only person you got to live with for the rest of your life. So we may as well understand our genetic fingerprint. We may as well understand that our greatest challenge is our greatest gift. And so there are just under 8, I've said this before, there are just under 8 billion people on the planet. There's just under 8 billion different realities happening simultaneously. The collective mind is operating in the shadow frequency. So what happens is we look outside of ourselves as a reference point of who we're supposed to be in the world, but we're looking at the shadow as reference. And so we're not holding ourselves accountable to operate in a higher frequency. That's why it's so powerful to have guides or mentors that are masters of their craft, because they can hold a reference point of what's actually possible in the human experience. So we start using that as a reflection of how we get to show up and be in our potential. Wow. So the gene keys is basically an opportunity to recognize when people are operating in the shadow. What's happening in the shadow frequency is that we keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results. And that is what we call hell. Right? Hell and heaven is not a destination. It is here through our creation. And when we are looping a shadow frequency and we're blaming external sources as to why this is happening to us, we stay in this loop of shame and guilt. And that is the frequency of the shadow. So when you have a lens that all you can see is through the shadow, what can all you see? If you put a glasses on that are just orange, all you're going to see is your whole world is orange. So when you put the lenses on that are operating from the shadow frequency, all you see is suffering. Yeah. All you see is people fucking people over. All you see is the worst of the world.
Yeah.
So essentially, this is where we get stuck, is when we are so programmed to believe that there's a wrong and a right, is when we realize that actually someone can be operating in their gift and someone can be operating in their shadow, and they don't agree. And they're so hung up, or the person in the shadow is so hung up on being right, that someone in the conversation has to suppress their truth to create a false sense of harmony. This is the paradigm of wrong and right. Can we actually move into the paradigm that you have your unique lenses on life and I have my unique lenses on life? And actually, can I listen to yours to get a broader perspective of how you experience life as well? So the Gene Keys is an incredible way to get a blueprint of the human experience and basically shift your lens from a shadow into a gift. When you shift your lens, when you clean them off, when you transmute any distortion of how you see yourself, when you can actually see clearly what's in front of you, so the world can reflect back to you a higher frequency reality. We are playing in a frequency game.
Yeah.
And so, you know, people would say to me, well, Blu, you don't live in this reality. And I'm like, no, I don't live in your reality. I live in my reality. And I have devoted myself to cleaning my lens off in every given moment so that I can actually receive a magic that's actually the default of magic.
I'm curious, everybody, comment what's one word to describe the lens in which you see the world. Curious.
And would you say like the lens of the shadow, gift, or city, or just like what their lens feels like?
what their lens feels like to see if it's in the shadow, the gift, or the city. But I'm really curious. Yeah, this is really, really powerful.
It's so powerful. I mean, I'm such an advocate and ambassador for the world of plants and the plant world, and the understanding of the intelligence of merging the intelligence of the plant world with our intelligence to be able to support us to have a deeper sense of knowledge and connectedness to the planet. And I was as excited about plant and psychedelics existing as I was about gene keys existing. Gene keys is, I've studied it every day for 2 hours. I've gone through the book multiple times. I have translated every single archetype onto my laptop in note form, and I have read each one at least 4 times over. Like, it's I just believe in it, and it's the way that I navigate my reality. And now it's got to the point where someone can show up and I can see if they're operating in their shadow or if they're operating in the gift. I can see their spots. I can see what archetype they're playing out. And the beautiful thing about the archetypes is what our greatest challenges, our greatest gifts. So you'll find that somebody may have gone through a lot of sexual trauma growing up, and then all of a sudden they become a sex mentor and supports people to alleviate themselves through sexual trauma. Their greatest challenge became their greatest gift.
Yes. So can somebody, like, because I feel like no matter what, I'm always mastering, but I feel like there's moments, like last week I was, I had that little voice kind of kick in and I started doubting myself. I was shooting all these new videos for Leaders Create Leaders Academy. And, I was like, oh, that perfectionist was coming back in. And I was starting to think like, oh, I could be better. And I was just starting like, oh, there's that. And I caught myself and I was able to shift it. But do you feel that, like, this is something that, because I feel like every day we have the opportunity to continue to keep working, but and I guess, like, do you feel that these are things that every day you could be operating from the shadow, from the gift, from the city? And it's like, how do you like leverage gene keys to really, like, elevate from the shadow to the gift to the city, like, just in a practical way on a day-to-day basis? Because I know even me, and I practice all the modalities and I do all the work, but there's moments where, like, these shadows keep coming up. I mean, I know for sure, even just with coronavirus and the quarantine, like, new shadows arose for me. So I don't know if that's like, if that's clear, but I feel like, can someone be operating on all three?
So even if you now have done so much work and devotion to operate predominantly in the gift frequency, that is going to be, because you're human and you are here for the human experience, there is always the dark side of the moon as well as the light side of the moon. And we're going to feel jealousy, judgment, anger, separation, denial, shame, guilt. These are going to be a part of our human experience. The difference that I have found once I have become self-aware is that when shit hits the fan, I become the observer of the mindset that I then start playing into. And I hear a little ding, 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 and the bell goes off and it goes, okay, you're in the dojo. You have an opportunity right now to transcend this shadow.
Oh, so good. So good. So good. Because, like, once I've learned how to become the observer, it's been almost fun. It's like, oh shit, the shadow's here. And then it's like, oh my God, like, you're right. I'm like, I'm human again. And then I get to start to, like, oh wow, I'm like, oh, it's so exciting. I'm like, this is where the work comes in. This is where the opportunity is for me to, like, observe that, understand it, almost appreciate it, and then change that, like, shift that energy,
exactly.
and just
trust the trigger to teach. Trust it to teach you something, because when we can see it through the lens, this is happening for me to grow, you can never lose in life. The second that we go, oh, schmite you, oh, schmitey, how could this happen to me? I can't believe you did this to me. Fuck you, da da da. And we go outwards and project it. We literally hand our power away on a golden platter to the universe or to the person that did something that triggered us. And we don't trust the trigger to teach. And therefore, we don't evolve through this part of ourselves that all it wants is to be felt in its entirety and then integrated back into wholeness.
So good.
So it's powerful to feel it, when the shadow comes up, feel it, feel all of it. What are the stories that are attached to it? And recognize that this is not the first time that I've experienced this emotion. And this is an opportunity for me to evolve through it when I can actually take ownership of it. And the difference of the conversation, the shadow would sound something like, I can't believe you did this to me. You made me feel this way. Fuck you. I don't want to speak to you anymore. Let's not be friends, whatever. Okay, that's a shadow. That's an example. The gift frequency. Okay, so what came up for me was a deep trigger, and I'm feeling within myself is that I'm noticing feelings of jealousy, and I'm recognizing that actually when I was a child also I noticed that my father did this, and I got this feeling when I watched it go through my mother, and I'm feeling that that's where it's stemming from. So this trigger is teaching me a part of myself that is still not integrated into wholeness. I'm going to need 48 hours to get back to you, so I'm not responding to you from a reactive nature. Do you see how one's victim consciousness, one's creator consciousness? Do you see how it is a choice? And so pain is inevitable. Pain is going to happen. There's the dark side of the moon, there's the light side of the moon. Suffering is resisting to what is. The most sacred thing is what is. The second I resist what is, I don't want to feel this emotion, I resist it. That's where the suffering happens.
Yeah. Wow. So powerful. So
with that being said, I mean, I pulled up your gene keys. I'm down to like just give you like a little touch and a little
please. Yeah, I would love that. I really love that.
Straight off the bat. Okay. So there's 6 lines you can be within the gene keys within your life's work and your sphere of your life's work. The shadow. So within your life's work, there's 6 lines. There's 6 different themes. You can either be a teacher, you can be a creator, you can be a fixer, you can be a server. Wow. You are what we call a dancer. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be the next Billy Elliot. It does mean that you must always do what you love. If it comes easy and naturally, then it's right for you. So that's your litmus test of when something just comes naturally through you and it feels easy and it feels good and you're really enjoying it. That's where your energy is going to be the most potent across the board.
I love that. I feel that.
And then we've got the balance between the Sagittarian and the Capricorn energy within you because you're on the cusp. And so we're looking at, like, there's a part of you that's the seeker, the philosopher, the explorer. You're going to thrive off learning. You're going to thrive when you are seeking and exploring, and you're in Morocco and you're trying you're going into the markets and you're feeling all of the fabrics, and then you're in India and you're barefoot and you're exploring.
It's so me.
This is you, and then that's balanced with an ancestrally deep wisdom that already is within you. It runs within you very, very deep. And so this is the wise elder. You have the energetics of a wise elder with the simultaneous experience of the seeking. So it's like the philosopher, the seeking, the learning, and then this wise elder beat that you already have within your being.
Love that.
So it does, what you're here to do, if you fulfill your life's work, then over the course of your life, you will become progressively more relaxed. So essentially your journey is learning to set yourself up. And as you evolve through your journey, you're setting yourself up to start feeling relaxed in who you are, what you're here to do, how you're here to serve, and actually recognize that what you do on the outside effect is irrelevant. Even though you are a wellspring of creativity, you have this natural wellspring of creativity to you. It says what is of importance is that you communicate your essence to the world.
Wow.
It's what you're here to do is you're absorbing the nutrients of your travels, you're absorbing the studies, you're being the seeker, the philosopher, the adventurer. You're like the turtle, and you go through life and you put life's experiences under your shell. And then the way that you actually be able to have an outlet for your massive amount of creative energy is be the storyteller in full effect and have an avenue to be able to share your lessons with the world.
Yay! That's what I
Which
love.
you're already doing so well at. This is just confirmation. So it says that your specifically means that you show others how to be at ease with both themselves and with the world. So you're here to show others how to be at ease in a world of illusions. And you have this natural, it's like you have this presence of your ancestors with you that are supporting you from the ethers, going, go, Gerard, do the things that we couldn't do within our lifetime and share it with as many people as possible to create them to build a life of less suffering and more embodiment of what it means to be here.
That touches my...
And above all else, you're here to show people how to love themselves.
Yes. Yes.
It's yeah, it says that you know, you are an example of how to love oneself, as well as how to carry the confidence to others so that they may and be embodied by it. And so of course, leaders inspire leaders. This is you to a T. You are here to activate the leadership within other people, because actually recognizing you're not here to gain followers. That is literally bypassing your whole mission. You are here to activate the leadership within other individuals, because actually what the world needs is leaders stepping into their truth, so that every single person they come into contact with, they influence in a positive way. They're not reliant on you and your light. They're actually recognizing that you are really a mirror, just to show them what they're capable of as well.
Fuck yes. That is literally like, that is such confirmation, because that's what, like, that is my dance. Like, that is what I love every single day. That is the dance that I love to, that is the music and the dance that I love to do every day. And I hope that I'm a reflection of that to every single one of you that has taken time to be on this live and that listen to this episode and see this. And that is like at the core of who I am. I want you all to just fully step into just loving yourselves more, stepping into being that leader within. Thank you so much, Blu. That was really, really
and
beautiful.
It's just literally, that's like not even a fraction of scratching into your chart, because your chart in the Gene Keys goes back to the moment of conception in your mother's womb. That was when your genetics started being created of who you were to be in the world. And so we can follow your genetic imprint back to the moment you were in the 9-month gestation period in your mother's womb, and what you absorbed when you were still in her belly as a part of your genetic imprint. It's really, really, I mean, the Gene Keys is so profoundly powerful. Yeah, I mean, it also talks, you know, about what fulfills you, what keeps you healthy. For you specifically, for you, it's all about, you got to enjoy your own body. Like, you got to feel good in your body. It's what's going to pump you with life force energy. It's so important. And it says, yeah, this is the thing that's actually going to allow you to emanate shine into the world. Like, I know that feels like, you know, it's pretty obvious, like anybody that works out will feel good, but for you specifically the archetype that runs through you, a lot of your ability to serve others is born within your relationship with your own body.
Yeah, I believe that.
And it says life is about passion and love. No experience is unimportant to you, even the most mundane. To really glow as you are intended to, you must repeatedly throw yourself into new opportunities with your heart wide open. And if you learn to make all decisions from your heart, you will be a very, very radiant being.
Yeah. This is what I've been working on. Yes, I love it. Oh my God, I feel like this has been like just a snippet. I feel like I want to go a lot deeper. So, gosh, Blu, I'm definitely gonna be working with you on the Gene Keys. So are you currently? Are you currently implementing this in your practice? Like, how are you right now? And again, I just want to take a second here to just honor you for just giving me a glimpse, Blu, because that was really, really special. My mom is actually on the live. She commented there, Jenny Adams Bueno. So it means a lot to me, and you know, it's just really special. So Mom, I got my Gene Keys since I was in your womb. And thank you for birthing me. And you know, it's been an unbelievable journey in my life. I feel like it's so interesting to kind of like listen to who I am innately, and I feel that I have been stepping into, you know, that alignment, you know, of listening to my heart, speaking my heart. And I feel like I'm just still so excited to just continue to discover more of who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I just got another glimpse and another reminder of who I am. And I really
Mm-hmm.
appreciate you being the vessel to doing that for me, Blue. And I'm really excited to go deeper with you. And for all of you that are interested, make sure you go and hit up Blue and reach out to her to ask her about Gene Keys, ask her about how you can work with her, and make sure you definitely check out her podcast, Deja Blue, one of the top podcasts in the world. In regards to all of this, transformation, spirituality, consciousness, storytelling, all the things. So Blue, thank you so much. Before we hop off though, we have about 5 minutes. So I was thinking maybe we'll take some questions. One of the things, guys, I would love to dive into a little bit too. I'm going to just comment your questions and I'll pull some up. But Blue, is that okay with you? Can we maybe move to some questions or anything else that you would
Yeah,
like to? Cool. Okay, cool.
I'm here for it.
Okay.
Someone's asking, how can you do your own gene keys, or how do you get access to the gene keys? And they've asked it a couple of times. I just want to speak into that real quick.
Okay. Yeah.
You go to www.genekeys.com and you can type in your information. You'll need your birth time. If you don't know your birth time, you can put midday and it'll give you kind of like a semi-accurate read. And you can get your hologenetic profile, and you can get a very short free summary of a little bit about what I shared with Gerard. It's from his free summary, but you can get that on the website. And then for you to actually study the Gene Keys, you would need to buy the book. It's Gene Key. It's the title Gene Keys, and you get it out on Amazon for $25. And it's an incredible book. It's become my Bible. And there's an opportunity to read all of your hologenetic profile, all the different archetypes in the book as well. So that's just a little quick intro of how you can get your toes in the water.
I love it. I love it. Okay, cool. So Mary asked, what are your tips to let go then? And Activate Self similarly said, can you walk away from toxic situations without seeing it as running away?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So there's like two there.
Okay, so can you walk away from toxic situations without running away?
Yeah.
So essentially, yeah, there's going to be people, specifically as you continue to walk down a path that is so unique, that this path is not walked down by many people, which is the study beyond just this 5 century experience, and actually into the non-physical and into the world of spirituality and into the world of vibration and frequency. People are gonna, first off, like, be triggered by it, and also, think you're crazy or whatever, because they can only meet you with the consciousness that they're willing to go themselves. And so when we are in an experience where, obviously it's all fingerprint, case by case. However, creating healthy boundaries is an act of self-love. And the importance of recognizing, if somebody is draining my life force energy, and every time I speak to them, I feel heavy. Every time I speak to them, I feel like I've been blamed or shamed or guilted. And this is happening over a series of time. The most loving thing that we can do is go, I respect you on your journey. But for me, I must step away from this experience because it's the most loving thing that I can do. I'm sending you love, and I'm doing this because it's the most loving thing that I could do for myself, and actually step away from it. So instead of actually being like in the fire with them and pointing their finger and yelling at them back and sending all that energy back, actually finding our center within the conversation and actually saying, I'm actually going to remove myself from this conversation. That's not running away. That's an act of self-love. And so, of course, it is fingerprint by fingerprint of like, what is the situation? Do you live with that person, or whatever it is that comes up? Recognizing, essentially, it's like the energy of the lion, which the spirit animal of the lion is known and respected by many, known intimately by few. So recognize, like, if you have people in your life that are inspiring you, uplifting you, also empowering their own full fuck yes within their experience, they are continuing the mystery of unraveling themselves and supporting you in the motion, then you are an already beautiful piece of artwork with an incredible frame around you. Now you take that same piece of artwork and you surround it with people that don't see them and that put them down and that shame and guilt them and should all over them. You put that same piece of artwork, you put it in the garage, you put it behind the sofa, and it's covered in dust. It's the same piece of artwork, but it's lost its value because it's not in the right frame. So you've got to ask yourself, what is the frame that's going to support my already existing piece of artwork? And that is my act of love.
Wow. Oh my God. That was so powerful. I'm gonna have to rewatch that, re-listen to that. Like, what? That was so powerful. I've never heard anyone put it that way, and that like resonates with me so much. Wow, so powerful. Jackie asked, how do we handle people who handle conflict from their shadows? Do we defend our light or not waste our light?
So the collective consciousness, the masses, is predominantly operating from the shadow frequency. The way that that can affect us is if any part of ourselves is identifying with what that person is saying. That's the second that we get pulled and wrapped into the chaos of the conversation. If we are in the study of knowing thyself, we know our intentions, we're definitely going to have challenges in our life, and that we're going to learn from them, and we may have made what quote unquote a mistake, but actually we learned from it. How can we take ownership of the areas in our life that we may have been out of integrity with our intention, speak into that, take ownership of it, and if the conversation continues to be a projection field from the shadow frequency, recognizing I am not here to justify myself, I am not here to justify my actions, I am not here also to be a projection field for you. Namaste, sending you love. I'm stepping out of this conversation. It's not running away. It is, and it's also, you don't have to defend your light. You have to defend. If you know within your heart where your intention was and where your why was coming from, and that you can take ownership of any area that you were out of integrity, and the other person cannot come to a place where they can be at peace and be listening to that, then that is the time to step away from the conversation.
Super powerful. Love it. Great question. Great question, Jackie. Charlie asked, would you say that ourselves, we are our own alchemists?
Yes, 150%. You are the shaman of your own experience. And what alchemy is this is an example, feeling the depth of an emotion, going through a heartbreak, feeling like your heart is cracking open, and like you don't even starting to learn, like, who am I anymore? Like, my identity seems to have been crumbling. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to go play some music. I'm going to let this energy out. I'm going to let it move. I'm going to go paint a painting. I'm going to go do something creative. That is alchemy. Because what you're doing is you're turning a very intense shadow emotion into something beautiful. That's alchemy.
Yes. I absolutely love that. That is literally what happened to me last week when I was feeling that way, when I was feeling down, when I was feeling not good enough, when I was doubting myself, and I like shifted, guys. I like got outside. I went for a run in nature. I decided, and I booked Sedona, came to Sedona and hiked, and, you know, surrounded myself with people I love. And I started to fill my cup, like she's talked in the beginning, fill my champagne cup, you know, fill it back up. And I was able to shift that. So, yeah, I love that. That's really practical. I think that plays right into Kitty's question, where she says, how can we use Gene Key to dive deeper into fulfilling our destiny?
So if you want to be in the individual study of the gene keys, then, like I said, going on the website, getting a free profile, getting an understanding, the whole website has got tools to support you. I was self-taught, right? So I just got really curious on the journey. I didn't have somebody teach me. I sat with it. I took the seminars with Richard Rudd. I understood how to actually learn my profile online. And then I started being in the inquiry of my own chart. I bought the book. If you want to be guided into the gene keys, because the gene keys can be quite intense in the sense of the book is very like dense information. I offer life purpose activation sessions, and that is 555 for the session, and it's 2 hours long. And you can email me if you feel interested in doing that deep dive. It's just me and you one-on-one for 2 hours, like going in. We go deep, we go in. And so if you're interested in that, you can email me bluecosmiceagle@gmail.com, BLUcosmiceagle@gmail.com, and you can definitely just let me know that you watched the live and that you're interested in a session. I'd be more than happy to work with you one-on-one. So
it's bluecosmiceagle@gmail.com, right?
What was that?
It was bluecosmiceagle@gmail.com, correct?
That's correct, yeah.
Got it, cool. Sweet. So we may get kicked off. We're over an hour. So if we do, guys, we're going to probably wrap it up. I'm going to take one more question. And let's see here. Well, just in case, because it's way past and they may kick us off, I'm going to really just, Blue, like kind of wrap it up and just say that I'm so grateful for you and what you're doing and who you are. And I'm getting ready, guys, to do another. Every year I do a really deep spiritual journey. Last year was Peru. Year before that was Costa Rica. And this year I'm going to be working with Blu and Azra, her partner, and Ben, and going through a 6-month deep ceremony work, but really a lot of integration throughout it. And I'm just so honored and grateful to have these angels working with me. I'm continuing to just invest in myself, and I highly recommend that that you guys take this, re-listen to this episode, and find the parts that really connect with you, and allow this to be inspiration for you to do more of this work for yourself. Continue to dive into discovering more about yourself and making these shifts and tapping into your gift. And if there's anything that Blu can do, just hit her. She is there to support you like she is me. Hit her up. If there's anything I can do, hit me up. I appreciate each and every one of you taking time to jump on here. And I wish you all an amazing week. And Blu, again, thank you so much, sister, for doing this work and just being you. You have the most unbelievable just personality. It's so beautiful to see how you express yourself every day. It's so much fun. And just thank you so much for being you.
Oh, I'm so grateful for this opportunity to come in here and be with the audience and the allies that you've created online. I can just see the caliber of individuals that you have attracted to you just through the comments, and just how incredibly inspiring each and every one of the people here that joined in. So just so honored, brother. Thank you for seeing me the way that you do, and putting an amazing frame around my artwork. I appreciate you, and right back to you. If anything that you need ever, you just reach out to me. I'm always here.
Yeah, I love it. I definitely want to be reaching out. I want to go deeper on Gene Keys. I want to jam with you more. We didn't have that much time, but I want to jam with you more on storytelling, because I know you're just like an amazing storyteller. So I think we have a lot more that we'll do together. But thank you for today, and I love you, and I will talk to you soon.
I love you, brother. Speak soon. Blessing.
All right, guys. So thank you for tuning in. Make sure to go follow Blu and hit her up. Go let her know how this was valuable. Shoot her a DM. Go comment on her last post. Make sure to subscribe to her podcast. It's super powerful, Deja Blu. And if this episode was valuable to you, I would love to hear from you. So comment on my last picture. Let me know what you took away from this. And if you want to re-listen to it, I'm going to be putting it on my podcast. Our new episode drops tomorrow. Leaders Create Leaders on Spotify, iTunes, whatever you use to listen to podcasts. So if you do listen to the podcast, definitely share it to your story and tag me so I can repost you and thank you personally. And guys, it's a new week. So you already know, new week, new goals. Let's own it. All right. Be the leader. I love you guys. Let's continue to rise up. Peace.